Hey guys, home stretch, just finishing up the fast over here. I have a pounding headache. I don't want to eat so much, but I have a pounding headache, so that's my body telling me that it wants to eat, but I'm gonna try to stick it out. So, my friends, um, you know, when you think back to October 7th, our enemies are fascinating people, to say the least. I don't know if you guys know this. The name of the mission, of Hamas's mission that they carried out on October 7th, was called the Al-Aqsa Flood. They wanted to flood Israel in the name of Al-Aqsa, and to get to what they call Al-Aqsa, to get to Jerusalem, to get to where the Temple Mount is. Right, that is their goal. By the way, you hear that also from these orcs in Syria and also in Yemen. They all want to get to Jerusalem, guys. Right? If you go to the homes of the kibbutzim that were attacked, the graffiti in those homes says Mabul al-Maqdis. Right? It's interesting that they call it al-Maqdis, right? It sounds eerily familiar to Beit HaMikdash. The flood of al-Maqdis. You know, my friends, our enemies are like telling us something. They're telling us that they're telling us what we should want. They're telling us what they want to do. They're telling us where they want to go. And they're really instructing us what we should want. If you go to their homes, soldiers, my friends, soldiers, IDF soldiers, went into the homes of, in Gaza, of these terrorists. What is on every wall of every home? The Dome of the Rock. My friends, this is what they dream about. Only, 20% of us, 20% of Jews dream about it? Should be more, right? When we had the 6-Day War, then we were on the radio, the army guys who were like secular, traditional, weren't so religious, Har Bayit Beyadenu, the Temple Mount is in our hands. And then we gave it back, gave it away, and since then, my friends, most of us haven't really been dreaming about it so much. Like, guys, I'm sitting here, I'm not any tzaddik, but, I've been sitting all Tisha B'Av dreaming about it. Not just suffering, and usually I'm just kind of like suffering and watching Holocaust stuff and watching, like today I did also watch Gush Katif stuff, and all kinds of different things. But rarely am I actually sitting and dreaming about the Beit HaMikdash. I think, if anything, guys, this is the first Tisha B'Av I had where I basically was like, last night I was just imagining that this was going to be our last Tisha B'Av, where we don't have a temple. I said this, I was sitting in a basement in, of a shul, a very nice basement, kind of a library really, in the Upper East Side, and I got this vision of that this is going to be the last. I didn't know what else, nothing really else came to me, but at least I got a vision that we were going to have, this was going to be the last Tisha B'Av without a temple. And frankly, guys, that's the first time it ever happened to me. And again, I'm not a tzaddik, I'm not a prophet, I'm not anything, right? So yeah, guys, our enemies want something, and they want what we have. We don't realize what we have, and we don't even realize what we're supposed to be pining for. I think that's actually, my friends, to me, the depressing part. I once heard a teacher from Tzfat. He said it's so dark. The time before Mashiach is going to be so dark that we're going to be so disconnected that we don't know that there's anything to connect to. But what does that mean? He says that just means that it's the greatest darkness preceding the greatest light. So, my friends, I had people tell me during these 3 weeks, oh, I don't know how to connect to this day. I can't, some people said I can't even get myself to care for various reasons. Maybe Mashiach isn't even coming. How do you know? It's like waiting for Godot. That book, Waiting for Godot. Godot never came. Or, the Mashiach who's coming, you don't want him. Whatever the heck that means. My friends. So that's a darkness, guys. That's probably the greatest darkness, when people are just like, they're stuck in their mundane life, right? And that's the end all be all. They're trying to, even if they're trying to solve some sort of problem, they have a business where they're trying to address a problem. What do they call it? Social entrepreneurship. Or just they have a goal that they think is lofty, right? They want people to be able to order things to their house at the push of a button. They want people to be able to, I don't know, give someone cars that drive themselves. All these things, guys, right? That everybody thinks is the end-all, be-all of humanity. My friend over here, by the way, likes listening to my shiurim. I just walked around the house and he followed me. I'll show you, my friend. Hello, yes. You like this? Yeah, enjoy it. My friends, they say, the animals will be interested in what the Torah has to say. We know that from, Shir Shirim. Yeah. So, my friends, we have a great darkness, and we're going to have a great light very soon. B'ezrat Hashem. And we just have to know that our enemies, as I said on Shabbat, anti-Semitism is built into nature. Our enemies are built into nature. Our enemies speak to us. They tell us what it is that we should be focused on. We don't listen to them enough. We just hear their words, or we're not actually listening. We just dismiss their words, right? We need to understand that they're talking to us. They're telling us, here's what is important. Here's what should be important to you. And we see that it's not important to you. Okay, but it's important to us. Maybe that means that we, this is them speaking now, right? That we are the inheritors of whatever it is, right? No, my friends, they are not. It's just that we are asleep. And we need to wake up. And I really hope that we don't get a certain wake-up call as described by this gentleman today. He wrote this kind of prediction. I won't say who, but he wrote this prediction, and he predicted all these horrible things that would happen to the Jews in the diaspora, and etc., etc. My friends, it shouldn't get to that point. It really shouldn't get to that point. We should wake up, and we should have a geula berachamim. We should have a redemption by a merciful means. B'ezrat Hashem. Alright, guys, hope you, if you're in my area, hope you survive the rest of the fast. For those of you who are already eating, bitavon. And for those of you on the West Coast, hang in there. Talk to you soon.